The Tunguska event. It was a massive explosion that occurred near the Pokemania Tuxin River, Russia, on the morning of June 30, 1908. The explosion over the sparsely populated eastern Siberian taiga flattened an estimated 80 million trees over an area of 2,150 kilometers square, 80 square miles, 800 square miles of forest, and eyewitness reports suggest that at least 3 people may have died in the event. The explosion is generally attributed to the airburst of stony meteorite about 100 meters, 330 feet in size. It is classified as an impact event, even though no impact crater has been found. The object is thought to be have disintegrated at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers, 3 to 6 miles, rather than have to hit the surface of Earth, which is a mystery, where most of the officials do not occur, which makes it a mystery because the crater isn't found, may have disintegrated. What else? The mystery isn't solved yet. Oak Island Mystery refers to stories of buried treasures and unexplained objects found on or near Oak Island in Nova Scotia. Since the 18th century, a number of attempts have been made to locate treasures and artifacts. Theories about artifacts present on the island range from pirate treasure to Shakespearean manuscripts to possibly the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. With the Grail and the Ark having been buried there by the Knights Templar, various items have surfaced over the years that were found on the island, some of which have since been carbon dated and found to be the hundreds of years old. Although these items can be considered treasure in their own right, no significant main treasure site has ever been found. The site consists of digs by numerous people and groups of people. The original shaft in an unknown location today was dug early explorers and known as the Money Pit. The curse is said to have originated more than a century ago and states that 7 men will die in the search of the treasure before it is found. Today, 6 men have died in their efforts to find the treasure, which is true. Early accounts from 1790s to 1857. We believe that from 17th to between 18th and 17th centuries, the treasure was buried on the Oak Island. Very little verified information is known about early treasure related activities on Oak Island. The earliest known story of treasure found by a settler named Daniel McNinnis appeared in print in 1857. The original story by early settlers involves a dying sailor from the crew of Captain Kidd, dating 1701, in which he states that the treasures worth 2 million euros had been buried on the island. According to the most widely held discovery story, Daniel McNinnis found a depression in the ground around 1799 while he was looking for a location for a farm. McGuinness, who believed that the depression was consistent with the Captain Kidd story, sought help with digging. With the assistance of 2 men identifying only as John Smith and Anthony Wogg, he excavated the depression and discovered a layer of flagstones 2 feet, that is 60 centimeters below. According to later accounts, oak platforms were discovered every 10 feet, that is 3 meters. However, the earliest accounts simply mention marks of some types of these intervals. After digging final stages, they finally found an iron plate, which when they tried to remove it, the seawater has submerged the region, which made them difficult to excavate the treasure beneath it. Why is the iron plate placed over there? When it's removed, why is the seawater coming in? Why are the people unable to retrieve the treasure beneath the iron plate? Which is a mystery. The Taos Hum. Taos is a small city in the New Mexico where people have reportedly have claimed that they heard a small hum. Only 10 to 2% people in that population hear a small rumbling noise which causes them nausea, nosebleed, which isn't natural. And others describe it as a small rumbling noise from an engine or something which makes them wake up or still be woke up at night, which isn't good. Where many questions have arisen, mysteries like is it a natural phenomena or there is a conspiracy around that place. The tower's hum has led many scientists get attracted to investigate the solution on what is going on over there, but they are left astonished. Many new techniques were tried, but none of them have discovered what's the reason for the hum. Is it a UFO? Is it a natural hum? Or something else? Which is a mystery. Nazca lines. Why the Nazca lines are among Peru's greatest mysteries. The line draws in geometric pattern and distinct animal shape across the Peruvian desert has inspired many theories over the years. Here's what we know and what remains to be seen. As a plain source over the high desert of southern Peru, the dull pale sameness of the rocks and sand organize and change form. Distinct white lines gradually evolve from the tan and rust red. Strips of white crisscross a desert so dry that it rains less than an inch every year. The landscape changes as lines take shape to form simple geometric designs: trapezoids, straight lines, rectangles, triangles, and swirls. Some of the swirls and zigzags start to form more distinct shapes: a hummingbird, a spider, a monkey. These are renowned as Nazca lines, subject of mystery of over 80 years. How are they formed? What purpose could they have served? Were aliens involved? The lines are found in a region of Peru just over 200 miles southeast of Lima, near the modern town of Nazca. In total, there are over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric figures, and 70 animal and plant designs, also called biomorphs. Some of the straight lines run up to 30 miles, while the biomorphs range from 50 to 1200 feet in length, as large as the Empire State Building. What are these lines? There are many sea living creature skeletons found on the Nazca lines, many shells, many slabs. How could it be that possible where there is no rain at all, where there is an inch of rain for 1 year, for once in a year? How could this be possible? What are these lines? The lines are known as geoglyphs, drawing on the ground made by removing rocks and earth to create a negative image. The rocks which cover the desert have oxidized and weathered to a deep rust color, and when the top 12 to 15 inches of rock is removed, a light colored high contrasting sand is exposed. Because there's so little rain, wind, and erosion, the exposed design have stayed largely intact for 500 to 2000 years. Scientists believe that the majority of lines were made by the Nazca people, who flourished from around 81 to 700. Certain areas of the pampa looks like a well-used chalkboard, with lines overlapping other lines and design cut through the straight line of both ancient and more modern origin. But how? How could the people of 1780 or 780 have known to draw such shapes? How could they identify such erosions? How could they have used that to their advantage? It's a mystery. Next up, Arkansas's bird death incidents. At around 5,000 red-winged blackbirds in an Arkansas city on New Year's Eve have found dead on the road. 5,000 red-winged birds have collapsed instantly without any notice or warning in front of the people, where they have to celebrate their new year on going on the corpses of the 5,000 birds which have fell constantly for 2 days, where the mystery isn't resolved yet, where they haven't seen anything like it. The locals protest that the fault of fishing and global genocide is the cause of it, but the mystery isn't solved yet. The locals also claim that they have ran over corpses to look over the sad view while bowing to the New Year celebration. Easter Island, the most unsolved mysteries on Earth, which has placed a topmost rank in the mystery books. No one hasn't solved it yet, but what is this Easter Island? What makes it a mystery? Some people around 18th century who have migrated to the Easter Island have suddenly disappeared. But why? Their existence is a marvel of human ingenuity, and the meaning a source of some mystery. Petrologists or rock art are seen on the back of Moai 157, which were re-exposed during the excavation of Tomai by Joan Wayne van Tiburg and her team at Roanoke Quarry, Rapa Nui. Which of these names doesn't make any sense, but the mystery hasn't been solved yet. What are the mysteries of Easter Island? Deforestation, slavery, and rats were all factors in the Pacific Island population decline, most probably. But most people have heard of the dissemination of the population of Easter Island, also called Rapa Nui, and have seen pictures of the massive stone statues, moai, that line in the coastline. But what does the statues represent? Which is a mystery. Bruce Lee was not only a martial artist, a great cha-cha dancer, a great family man, and he looked after his family members and much more. Only these doesn't make him a great personality. He had many motivational speeches. His philosophy was so great that he even wrote a book on philosophy of martial arts and on his style Jeet Kune Do. Bruce Lee's philosophy developed an entire style and philosophy of martial arts all his own, much of it recorded in his book Tao of Jeet Kune Do, with adaptly being one of his tenets and basis for his famous saying, "Be water." Bruce Lee always considered himself a martial artist first and an actor second. He is a legend of martial artists. He is a living legend. Still, he is considered as a living legend even though he is dead. But What made him die? A single tablet? How is it possible? Bruce Lee has passed away on July 20, 1973 in Hong Kong at age 32. It wasn't just shocking, it was incomprehensible. Initial investigations have revealed that Bruce Lee has given a painkiller called equigescin, which made him to go into coma and had a reaction in his brain and killed him. But none of them were believable. Most of the people denied that a single tablet cannot cause the reaction, which still stays as a mystery because it was never repeated or was seen in history for the first time and it was seen for the last time. The dark matter. Dark matter is believed to be a form of matter thought to account for approximately 85% of the matter in the universe and about 27% of its total mass energy density, or about 2.24 into 10 to the power minus 27 some number. Most dark matter is thought to be non-baryonic in nature. But what is this? What is dark matter? In simple terms, it is a composed of particles that do not absorb, reflect, or emit light, so they cannot be detected by absorbing electromagnetic radiation. Dark matter is a material that cannot be seen directly. The existence of dark matter cannot be traced to the pioneering discoveries of Fritz Zwicky and John Hart. It can be that the motion of galaxies in the Coma cluster and of the nearby stars in our galaxy do not follow the expected motion based on Newton's laws of gravity, which changes the theory of motion because of this dark matter, which completely rewrites the Newton laws in space, which is a mystery. The iron pillar at Qutub Minar in Delhi has remained rust-free for over 1600 years. The solid iron pillar is 7 meters high and 400 millimeters in diameter at the base. The lower part is rough and pitted, where it was once below ground, but the rest of the cylindrical column is smooth and tapers to a decorative bell at the top. Iron pillar of Qutub Minar is not rusted because it was made by 98% wrought iron. A thin layer of misweightia formed categorically by the presence of phosphorus in the iron. A compound of iron, oxygen, and hydrogen has also protected the pillar. Some scholars have assumed that it has happened around 1200 CE when Qutb al-Din Aibak commenced the construction of the Qutb complex as a general of Muhammad of Ghor. Finbar Barry Flood 2000 from 2009 theory says that it was Qutb al-Din's successor Ititmush, reigning from 1210 or 1236 CE, who moved the pillar to Delhi. The Bermuda Triangle. It is a region of the North Atlantic Ocean roughly bounded by the southeastern coast of the US, Bermuda, and the islands of the Greater Antilles, Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. The Bermuda Triangle does not appear on any world maps, and the US Board on Geographic Names does not recognize the Bermuda Triangle as an official region of the Atlantic Ocean. Why? Although reports of unexplained occurrences in the region date to the mid-19th century, the phrase Bermuda Triangle didn't come into use until 1964. Mystery. The phrase first appeared in print in a pulp magazine article by Vincent Geddes, who used the phrase to describe a triangular region that has destroyed hundreds of ships and planes without a trace. Of course, in Atlantic Ocean it's common, but in this particular region, it's not. Despite its reputation, the Bermuda Triangle does not have a high incidence of disappearances. Disappearances do not occur with great frequency in the Bermuda Triangle, that in other comparable regions of the Atlantic Ocean. At least 2 instances in the region involved US military craft. In March 1918, the coiler USS Cyclops en route to Baltimore, Maryland from Brazil disappeared inside the Bermuda Triangle. No explanations was given for its disappearance and no wreckage was found. Some 27 years later, a squadron of bombers, collectively known as Flight 19, under American Lieutenant Charles Carroll Tyler, disappeared in the airspace above the Bermuda Triangle, as in the Cyclops incident. Even this explanation wasn't given and no wreckage was found. How is it even possible of 2 squadrons to in between 20 years gaps and where other ships went missing in the Bermuda Triangle? It's a mystery.